What used to be considered trashy, but now is very classy. Fitness fashion. Wearing gym clothes during daily activities. I think the classiness perception is from healthy lifestyles being associated with wealthier people, and the quality of some fitness wear does indicate a certain budget. Combined with the indication of time management, having a job, a family, a social life, education, and you're able to the gym and stop by for groceries on your way home, plus the colors, so colorful, and the butt. Let's not forget that yoga pants butt. And older guy I work with, think he's almost 80. We were talking about differences between today and when he was my age. He told me, yeah, no, those tight pants the women wear these days, well, they didn't have those back then. Those are pretty nice. Apostrophe. Being tan used to indicate you worked in the fields. Now it indicates you are wealthy enough to hang out and play tennis or whatever. Champion brand clothes. That was a cheap armored brand in the 1990s. This and that shoes blew my mind as trends. I'm not clear on what that shoes look like. Example. Living or staying in the topmost floor. Before elevators were invented, people from the low class generally occupy the top floors, while high class people resided in lower floors. Why the lower floors on old buildings have higher ceilings? Stairs though. I just rented a place and I am so happy I'm on the first floor. Makes life a lot easier. Eating lobster. Used to be so abundant it was fed to prisoners. It was known as the cockroach of the sea. They are known for eating all sorts of gross garbage, including dead bodies. Wearing vintage clothes / second hand. Years ago it was only for poor people. At least where I live. Eating brown / black bread. It used to be the poor people's bread. The rich people ate white bread. It has flipped in the last decade. And now brown / black bread is very popular among the rich for being healthy or something. And white bread is the poor people's bread. Similarly, BBQ is now one of the most expensive meals, when in the day it was a style of slow cooking, meant to cook down the cuts of meat that were too tough and undesirable for rich folks to eat. The meat itself is very expensive to begin with. Lobster. Until maybe a century ago they were what prisoners were fed in much of New England. Yeah, but that was ground up with the shell still on it. Matthew McConaughey. He always looks smelly to me. Maybe not trashy, but when my mum was young they used to use kale as animal feed. It was so cheap and nobody wanted to eat it. Now it's some kind of superfood apparently. I remember reading that Pizza Hut used to be the single largest purchaser of kale. They would use it as a garnish around their salad bars. Rock and roll. Remember that scene from Back to the Future? Same with jazz music when it first started. Using a vaporizer for drugs. It used to be that only meth users and maybe crackheads vaporize their shit. Now everyone who smokes weed wants to do it, and there are people who are practically snobs about it and refuse to smoke normal bud. I had a friend with an early vaporizer for weed at least 15 years ago. Some of my stoner friends in high school, also about 15 years ago, pulled their money together to buy an early vaporizer. It was just a big box, about the size of a toaster, with a long hose sticking out of it. They loved that thing. And the few times I hit it, I remember how smooth it felt compared to barn rips. But it was just kind of an ordeal to take anywhere due to its size. Now we have vape pens the size of a stick of gum. Until the late 1800s oysters were dirt cheap. In medieval times up to well into the 18th century even working class people had them in large quantities. Where I live, we still gather seaweed to serve in restaurants as a delicacy, a dessert, but locals boil it too, just as regular food. Using rubber tires suspended from tree limbs by rope or chain for swings. Today, people are actually painting the tires decorator colors and displaying them prominently in their yards. Pabst Blue Ribboning both hands. Sitting in the front yard with feet soaking in a kiddie pool while wearing jorts and a wife beater. Wait, I'm classy now? Question mark. Working from home. I'm curious as to why it was considered trashy at one point. Can someone explain? I'd associate it with being involved in an MLM possibly. Recyclable garbage. Well, this is actual trash. So aside from the obvious, why was that considered trashy? Asking the government for financial help apparently. For a while. Growing out your roots. A trash panda raiding your garbage. But this time wearing a top hat and monocle. Only real answer in this thread. Good day to you, sir. Discussing private things in public. My parents are older and came from a generation where you never discuss personal issues or family matters in polite company. I think it's better that we are most accepting of discussing mental health issues, LGBT issues and the like with others to help not feel so alone. I think it's now considered intelligent, thoughtful conversation as opposed to be embarrassed/shameful conversation. I totally agree with you. However, I think it's still trashy to post publicly on Facebook how your boyfriend didn't come home last night till 3 AM or something. We might be moving towards oversharing. Smiling in photographs. Smiling is for idiots and the lower classes. Dear. A to Z Jordan 1s. The first batch sold out so quickly. They made way too many for the second one and they ended up 50% off. Many people just bought them because they were cheap. Living in the Bed-Stuy neighborhood of Brooklyn, or Bushwick, or Williamsburg, or Lower East Side. Maybe VHS's glitches. I think in the past they were very annoying, but now they kinda cool. Reading novels. In the 1700s people thought it was something frivolous for flighty women that would rot your brain. Nowadays many people consider any reading at all better than TV or video games. The new brain read Boogeyman. Though of course there are exceptions. Close bracket. Now I'd say TV is a lot more acceptable than video games and or the internet. TV is easy to turn off. Most people understand how it works. And it doesn't stick in your head or reinforce addictive, reward-seeking behaviors on the same level as the other two forms of media. Tattoos. Especially the ones that look like you handed a 3-year-old a Sharpie and said have at it. Solid question. Opus. I'm excited for the replies GBH. Lobster. Honestly, it used to be fed to prisoners in jails and fishermen couldn't sell it. This was a while ago though. Thrift store shopping. Shopping for clothing at thrift/second-hand stores. Breastfeeding a baby. It used to be something only poor people who couldn't afford formula would do. Depending on the quality. Fake Christmas trees. Used to be ugly, no matter what, and a real tree was considered so much better. Now they make some really pretty fake trees and a lot of people consider buying a real one an environmental no-no. At least, that's the mentality I grew up around. Paris Hilton. It's not exactly a new trend, but it wasn't that long ago that it was ugh. Tuck in your bra strap, you look trashy. Now, it's red carpet attire for women wear pretty much just underwear. Not that I'm complaining. Plastic surgeries. Watching anime. I don't think anyone considers watching anime classy. Not unless you're watching it with the boys while drinking a nice Chardonnay. Mullets seem to be on the comeback lol. Bruh, that's not classy though. Right. Coming on her back. Not paying taxes. Used to be only the poor wouldn't pay taxes. Now if you don't pay taxes it means you're smart/wealthy enough to have someone find a way to let you keep all your money. If it is legal then you would be a fool to give away money you didn't need to. Agreed, system is a problem. You could opt not to take the tax breaks. But what does that do? It doesn't make an impact on the poor people who can't work the system. If you have moral compunctions, I do. Take the tax breaks and then use that money to donate to others and better their lives directly. Owning a horse. Urban clothing. Believing that Jesus was God's son. The Beatles. Hopefully white nails at some point. A friend once told me that was super trashy, but I like it. Actors. Other kids used to make fun of me and call me poor for always bringing a lunch to school instead of buying it. Truth is my lunch was way better than the processed garbage they sold in the cafeteria, and since my lunch bag/water bottle/Tupperware was reusable, it made way less garbage. Please click subscribe if you enjoyed this video.